April 13, 2026, several speedboats were racing forward at high speed in Iran's territorial waters. Inside those boats were members of Iran's elite commando forces. A total of 4 speedboats were advancing together, carrying around 37 highly trained commandos. They had been deployed for a very important mission. An unidentified and suspicious vessel had entered Iran's maritime zone without permission, and it was attempting to pass through the area at high speed. At first, no one could determine what the ship was carrying or where it had come from. The reason: its transponder was completely turned off. Because of this, Iran's high command made a rapid decision to deploy a large response team. The incident had actually begun about 3 hours earlier. According to multiple international reports, Iran had maintained strict control over the Strait of Hormuz, not allowing unauthorized vessels to pass through. At the time, tensions in the Middle East were high, so naval radar control rooms were monitoring every small movement very carefully. This route is one of the world's most critical oil transport corridors. At around 11 a.m., a radar officer named Ahmed Reza noticed something unusual. Normally, ships on this route appear clearly on radar systems. But this signal was different. Something was moving at high speed, but its identity was unknown. No name, no code, no data appeared on the radar screen. Under normal conditions, oil tankers, military vessels, or passenger ships all display identification codes and route information. But in this case, there was nothing. The officer quickly realized the vessel had deliberately turned off its transponder. Without a transponder, it becomes nearly impossible to identify a ship's location, type, or destination. Even direct communication becomes extremely difficult. At that moment, the radar control team understood they couldn't afford to wait. Immediate action was necessary. After several failed attempts to establish communication, they made a quick decision. Initially, aerial surveillance was considered. However, the nearest airbase was too far, and deploying aircraft or drones would take too long. So instead, they deployed speedboats. These boats might look ordinary, but they are extremely fast and powerful. They can reach speeds of up to 180 kilometers per hour. If necessary, they can also be equipped with machine guns, short-range missiles, and even rocket launchers. Within a short time, the speedboats closed in on the unidentified vessel. The commandos still had no idea what was inside the ship. Even so, they advanced cautiously. Multiple warning signals were sent before reaching the vessel. But the ship showed no signs of stopping. The situation quickly became more serious. Finally, the speedboats moved directly alongside the vessel. Several commandos boarded it and began taking control. At the same time, the radar control room decided to send reinforcements. 2 helicopters were dispatched, carrying additional commandos. To further secure the situation, 2 MiG-29 fighter jets were also sent from the airbase. These jets quickly reached the scene and began monitoring the situation from above. Meanwhile, the commandos on board gradually slowed the ship down. More troops were deployed from the helicopters onto the vessel. After nearly 2 hours of coordinated effort, the ship was finally brought to a complete stop. News of the incident quickly spread across international media. However, no clear information has yet been released about the ship's origin or what it was carrying. Iran has stated that any unauthorized vessel entering its waters will face strict action. This incident makes one thing clear: Iran is now placing equal emphasis on securing both its airspace and maritime borders. Their control over these strategic routes has become stronger than ever before.